Hey guys, welcome back to the Hands On channel. Today we're out here in my woods continuing on. I've been doing this for about 2 weeks now, maybe 2.5 weeks. But what I'm trying to do is build a trail, a 2-track trail to access from the front of my property to basically the back corner or the northern 40 acres of my property. And as of now, I'm having to drive around and use my neighbors. They've had to give me easement to access that part of my property over there. So I've got a way to get there right now, but I have to drive down the road and go down around the bend and all this stuff. And I just don't like it because, you know, I see them, they see me, they see what kind of equipment I've got going on and stuff like this. And we haven't exactly established a trusting relationship yet. So, and I'm not sure we ever will, but yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm trying to build a 2-track here, and as I'm doing this, you know, it gives me a lot of time to think. When I'm out here in the woods, I get to process a lot of this stuff that I'm hearing on the news. When I go home in the evenings, I kind of bombard myself with all the news that I missed out on during the day. Well, last night I saw like 3 stories that were pretty alarming and telling about where we are in the United States of America right now, and basically what a communist takeover looks like. So, you know, you'd have to, the first story I want to talk about is the military, and it's related to the V, the mandate. That's really not a mandate. And if you go look this up, there is no executive order that there's a V mandate anywhere. So this is all a ruse, just like the whole deal about FDA approval was a ruse. It wasn't an actual FDA approval. It was actually just an extension of the EUA. If you don't know about that, go check it out. I made a whole video about it. So please go look about that. So you'll know when people are telling you, oh yeah, it's FDA approved and all this stuff, you'll know, hey, that's not actually accurate. There is one, Comirnaty was FDA approved, but not the one that's available here in the United States. So sorry about that sun glare there. I'm just doing the best I can. We're trying a new camera position here where I call it the Survivor Man. If you watch YouTube videos, which I'm assuming you do, you're watching this one. Les Stroud, I believe the guy's name is. He's from Canada. And the guy's a real great survivalist, and he's, you know, he has a great show. And he always does this tripod type of a stance here where the tripod is on your hip and it gives you the ability to walk around freely. So we'll walk down here kind of slowly so I'm not too bouncy. But yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys about just the different things that are going on right now that are really concerning to me. Number one is that if you go back in time a little bit, under Barack Obama, so 2008 to 2016, under Barack Obama, right? There was a litmus test, or supposedly, allegedly. I heard rumors over and over and over, enough so from military people that it made me believe that they were more than just rumors. And what were they? That there was a litmus test. Will you basically fire on American citizens if ordered to do so? If you said yes, you got to keep your job, you got to get promoted, you got to become a general like General Milley and all these other people. You got massive promotions if you agreed to, you know, go against the Constitution, go against your constitutional duty, and fire on American citizens if ordered to. So that was supposedly the litmus test in a nutshell for Barack Obama, you know, under his term. So fast forward to today, and we all know, we've discussed it many times, that Barack Obama is certainly one of the people that's pulling the strings on Joe Biden. And you can see now, if you don't take the V, you're basically not allowed a religious exemption anymore, is what I was reading yesterday. And essentially, this is tantamount to an attack on Christianity, an open attack on Christianity, a litmus test that if you're a Christian and you believe in the Bible and the teachings of the Bible, and you believe in, you know, there's another factor to this too. Another thing about Christians is that we're not afraid to die. In fact, a lot of us will look forward to that day when we get to meet our Maker. And people that are atheists and, you know, whatever, most modern people don't believe that or don't understand that. So that's why they can't understand why non-V people would be so, you know, holding their position so firmly and being like, no, I don't want this thing. It's an experimental mRNA thing that's never been tried before. This is not like any of the other Vs that have been out there in the past. This is totally different. You don't believe me? Go look it up. That's scientific, man. You can go look this stuff up and figure out that there's never been anything like this done before. And yet back at, I don't know when it was, back in the 90s or early 2000s, Fauci is on video saying that we need an emergency so that we can force this issue, this mRNA stuff, on the populace. Because right now, with all the testing and stuff we've got going, it's not going to pass the muster. We need to be able to basically override the FDA and get this stuff forced on the population. And that's exactly what has happened right now. So if you're in the military right now, I'm sure you're wondering, you know, what is your fate going to be? What is your future going to be if you're holding to your, you know, beliefs, whether that be moral or in this case, religious exemptions. There are, you know, that you're supposed to be able to get a religious exemption, you know. I've already said before, there's a multitude of reasons, you know. There's the my body is my temple argument. You could make the Genesis 6 argument that, you know, the flood was caused by the genetics on the face of the earth being muddied up by, you know, the fallen angels or whatever it was, you know, the Nephilim or whatever. You know, they supposedly bred these offspring that were giants. If you believe the Bible and the Genesis story, you know, which I do, that is true. That happened. And there were all sorts of chimeras because of that, because they bred with animals and stuff like that as well. And that's supposedly where a lot of the myths come from about like Minotaur and, you know, the half horse, half man guy, whatever. All these different things were supposedly, to some degree, real at one time or another if you believe the Bible, if you believe the Genesis 6 story. And I do. I believe it, you know, I believe the whole Bible. I believe everything it says in there. I believe it's the most true word that we've ever had. So, yeah, of course I'm going to believe it. I'm a Christian. So there's a multitude of reasons to not take this thing if you're a Christian. Not only that, it just doesn't make any sense for 100% of any, especially somebody as important as our military. You know, if you've got hundreds of thousands of guys that are refusing the thing, that's probably a good thing because, you know, what if? Just what if? I'm not saying it will happen, but what if suddenly all, you know, 3 years from now, all these people that took the V start dropping dead because, you know, oh, well, we didn't know about this. And then, you know, conveniently that plays into the hand of the eugenicists that want to reduce the population. They've openly said they want to reduce the population over and over and over. The UN Agenda 21 2030 is all about population control. That's one of the major, it's really mainly about control of everything, a one world government. They don't call it that, but that's what it is. The Great Reset, Build Back Better, all these words. So anyways, I think the new litmus test is, are you a Christian? Are you going to file a religious exemption? And we're not going to honor that religious exemption. And so far, the Supreme Court has not stood on the side of the people that are pro-health liberty. They're not standing for liberty. So, guys, I don't know what to even tell you to do anymore except for stand firmly for your convictions and what you believe in. Stand firmly. Don't let somebody else bully you, because that's what this stuff is. And at the end of the day, it's you know, high school bully tactics. That's what this crap is. When you cut through all of the, you know, the glamour and glitz that the media spin puts on it, it's really just bully tactics. They're trying to bully the entire population into doing an experimental V. And I think it's complete BS. And I hope that you're willing to, you know, stand up for what you believe is right. And not only that, even if you took the V and you're like, okay, well, it wasn't that big a deal. I didn't die. I didn't grow a tail, whatever. And it was okay for you. What about the people that it wasn't okay for? Why are they covering up those numbers? Why is there, I heard today there was a Google search ban. If you tried to look up certain things that were basically negative side effects, they were redirecting you to something else, some other thing that was not what you're searching for. So I would advise you, don't use Google. That's one of the things we can do to be proactive, is when we see these companies, no matter who it is, whether it be Netflix, they just caved on the Dave Chappelle thing. At first, the CEO was holding strong on that, and he was saying, no, I'm not going to, you know, let, basically a bunch of, I got to be careful what I say, because that'll get my video taken down if I say what I was just fixing to say there. So how can I put this? I'm not going to let a bunch of woke people control my company. That's what the guy said originally. And today he came out and said, well, maybe my judgment was wrong. I didn't think about it all the way and all this stuff. You know, I heard some other thing yesterday. Elon Musk is going to have to pay like $100 million to some guy that said that there was a racist incident back in the, 90s or something like that, or early 2000s. So on and on and on. Everybody's getting beat down by the woke culture all the time. And I'm just sick and tired of it. It's time we stand up for, and the adults in the room stand up and say, no, 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 that is not how it goes. The way that the society is breaking down, you're seeing Walgreens closing and stuff, especially in major Democrat-controlled cities, they're leaving. And the reason they're leaving is because they've basically legalized theft under a certain amount of money. So these people are going into these stores doing flash mobs and all this other stuff. Well, you can't just keep giving stuff away for free. That's not why people start businesses. So obviously Walgreens closed the store, and then the, I don't know, the mayor or something in San Francisco, I don't know, some liberal official out in San Francisco, a woman was like, oh no, that's not why they were leaving. It's just because business is down. It has nothing to do with the fact that we've basically legalized theft under like $900 or something like that. It's just freaking insane. And I was thinking about that. I was like, you know, if you look at every single thing that's going on, it's an attack on our founding, and our founding was strongly based in the Ten Commandments, in Christianity, at least the basic principles of Christianity. You know, you do unto others as you want them to do to you, that sort of thing, the golden rule, that sort of thing. But that's all gone now with the left in control. So anyways, terrible, terrible stuff. So the next terrible story was about the Philadelphia subway. Horrible, horrible story I've got to share with you guys. I don't even like talking about this kind of stuff to anybody, much less on the channel, but I feel like it's not getting the reporting that it needs. So a few days ago or so in Philadelphia, there were a bunch of people on like one of their public transportation devices. I don't know if it was a train or a bus or what. I think it was a train system. But anyways, or subway or something like that. They were all riding, you know, from point A to point B, another system of control, because those people, you know, they probably can't afford to have cars and stuff because they're living in this city where you get taxed or you can't afford to park the damn thing or whatever. The point is that they're forced into public transit where this kind of stuff can happen. All of a sudden, some guy from like, I think he was from South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. But he was not supposed to be here. He was on an illegal visa that had expired, had already been convicted of drugs, had already been convicted of some sort of a sexual assault, but still allowed to stay in this country illegally. So he was here illegally. All of these dreamers, all of these people that they've brought in illegally have the potential to do this exact heinous act that I'm fixing to basically tell you guys about. What happened? Suddenly a guy starts stripping down naked in front of everybody, and apparently there were quite a few witnesses around. And this guy, this crazy guy that was illegal alien, starts stripping down and raping a woman in broad daylight on the subway. And, you know, like I said, there was people around. So what do you know, I'm sure, though, like you and me, if we were there, we'd have stopped it. We'd have been like, whoa, ho, hey, wait a minute. Let's call 911 and get some police out here, or ring the bell and get the conductor to come back here and get some security on this thing. But they didn't. They pulled their phones out and started recording it because they probably wanted to upload it on their bullshit, you know, TikTok or, you know, World Star or one of these other examples of how far the United States has fallen in our morals. That's what this is all about at the end of the day. They're destroying morals. They're destroying the family unit. They're destroying the fact that you can't even ride a fucking subway without getting raped by an illegal immigrant right here in the United States. And do you think their fellow Americans, her fellow Americans, jumped to her savior and said, hey, wait a minute, guy, get off her. I'm going to hold you down until the police get here. No, they recorded her. Guys, at the end of the day, this stuff is all pure evil. And it makes me believe that I don't know what part we're in. I don't know which trumpet or which seal has been broken, but I believe we are in the times that are written about in Revelations. You should probably go study up on that. And I'm not saying it's end times yet. I'm not the guy out there in the corner saying the end is nigh. But I'm seeing all sorts of signs that are pointing to it's not the V that's the mark of the beast. It's the passport and the social credit score that comes along with the V. There's more to this than just health liberty, because if you guys cave on this, they say there's only like 25% of the country that hasn't taken the at least one round of the V or whatever. But I'm having a really hard time believing that. I think it's probably closer. The real number is probably closer to 50%, and they're exaggerating it I suggest you get right with Jesus and start reading up on that Bible, because it may be the only thing that is 100% truth that we have left, that they haven't yet completely annihilated, completely destroyed. They're working on it. The military thing tells me that we have moved to a new phase. It says in Revelations, in the end times, Christians will be persecuted in broad daylight. It's not going to be some hidden agenda thing where it's like unknown. It's going to be illegal at some point to be a Christian. I think that's coming real soon, guys. We need to pray for America. We need to bond together, the people of us that are still the silent majority, or whatever you want to call us, the people that are the actual adults that are left in this country. We need to band together and fight this tyranny. Resist tyranny, no matter what. I advise you, like I always do, to go get some land. If you've already got land, that's great. Get out there and work on it and develop it, or whatever you want to do. Build some roads, do some stuff like that while you still can. There may be a point in the future, if the UN and the globalists get their way, that they'll tell me I'm not allowed to build a 2-track road where I want to. Oh, no. That could affect the runoff, or that could affect how it drains, or some other shit like that. And eventually, I think their plan is to get us all in. If you've ever looked around the city, all the cities in the major cities in the country, almost, I mean, like 90% of them have what they call a beltway or a loop around the city. I think their long-term plan, and this is just me talking off the top of my head here. I don't have any proof of this. It's just what I feel in my gut. I think their long-term plan with this Agenda 2030 is to get us all inside of that circle. You won't be allowed to exist outside of that circle. They called it rewilding the United States of America. But I'm going to tell you right now, guys, they ain't going to get me to do that no matter what. They're going to have to kill this old boy, and probably a lot of others just like me. And I think they're willing to do that. Appreciate you tuning in. I stand for liberty. I hope you do too. We'll see you next time.